The kitchen clock ticked louder than ever, each second slicing through the silence as I stared at the divorce papers fanned out on the table. Sarah's handwriting on a sticky note clung to the top. "We need to talk." My pulse hammered in my throat. She wasn't home, left for errands hours ago. But this wasn't a casual note. This was a grenade, pin pulled, waiting for me to pick it up. I grabbed the pen, my signature a jagged scrawl across the line, fueled by a mix of dread and defiance. When Sarah walked in, her keys jangling, her face drained of color at the sight of my name on the dotted line. "Evan, no," she whispered, her voice breaking. That's when I knew. This wasn't a scare tactic. It was a confession. Her eyes, usually warm hazel, were wide with panic. She dropped her purse, the contents spilling, a lip balm, a receipt, her phone lighting up with a name I didn't recognize. "Why'd you sign?" she asked, voice trembling as she stepped closer, hands outstretched like she could undo it. I leaned back in the chair, the wood creaking under my weight. "You left them here, Sarah? What was I supposed to do? Beg?" My tone was calm, but inside, my heart was a war drum. We'd been married 10 years, weathered job losses, moves, her mother's death. But lately, she'd been a ghost, distant, her laughter replaced by clipped answers and late nights working. I'd ignored the signs, wrapped in denial's soft cocoon. Now it was unraveling. "I thought," she started, then stopped, sinking into the chair opposite me. The papers sat between us like a judge's gavel. "I thought it'd wake you up, Evan, make you see how bad things are." Her words stung, but her gaze flickered to her phone again. It buzzed insistent, and I caught the name this time, Chris. My stomach twisted. "Who's Chris?" I asked, keeping my voice even, though suspicion coiled like smoke. She hesitated, a beat too long. "A co-worker from the gallery. Her art gallery job. The one she'd thrown herself into these past months. Working late, coming home with smudged mascara and excuses." I didn't buy it. That night, we didn't speak. I stayed in the den, the couch lumpy beneath me, replaying her words. "Wake me up." I'd been awake, working overtime at the warehouse to cover our mortgage, cooking dinners she barely touched, asking about her day while she stared at her phone. The divorce papers felt like a betrayal, not a warning. By morning, my suspicion hardened. I checked our bank app while she showered, small withdrawals, cash, untraceable. Coffee shops, hotels. My chest tightened. I wasn't paranoid, I was blind. When she emerged, towel-wrapped, she froze at my expression. "What's wrong?" she asked too quickly. I held up my phone, showing the transactions. "Care to explain?" Her face crumpled, but she recovered fast. "Client meetings. You know how it is, networking." Her voice was smooth, practiced. Too smooth. I stood, closing the distance between us. "Networking at the Marriott? 3 nights last month." Her silence was deafening. She turned away, busying herself with her hair, but I saw her hands shake. "Evan, you're blowing this out of proportion." My anger flared hot and sharp. "Then let me see your phone." She clutched it to her chest, instinctive, and that gesture was the crack that split my world open. "It's nothing," she insisted, but her eyes betrayed her, guilt, raw and unmasked. I didn't touch her phone. Instead, I moved to the guest room, the air thick with unspoken accusations. Days passed in a tense stalemate. She cooked dinner once, an awkward attempt at normalcy, but the clink of forks was our only conversation. I started noticing things. Her perfume lingering on clothes she hadn't worn for me, a new necklace I hadn't bought, her phone password changed. Each clue was a needle, pricking the bubble of denial I'd clung to. I wanted to confront her, but fear held me back. What if I was wrong? What if I was right? The truth came uninvited. I got home early one evening, the house dark except for a glow from her office. The door was ajar, and I heard her voice, low and intimate. "Chris, I can't keep lying. He signed the papers. It's real now." My blood ran cold. Chris, not a co-worker, a lover. I pushed the door open, and she yelped, dropping her phone. "Evan." Her face was a mask of horror, then tears. "How long?" I demanded, my voice a growl. She didn't deny it. "For months," she whispered, collapsing into her chair. "It wasn't supposed to happen. You were always working, and I felt invisible. Invisible? I poured everything into our life, but it wasn't enough. Not for her. The confrontation was brutal. You put those papers out to guilt me while you were sleeping with him? I shouted, pacing the room. She sobbed, nodding. I thought it'd push you to fight for us. I didn't expect you to sign. Her motivations spilled out. Loneliness, resentment, the thrill of attention from Chris, a curator who saw her when I didn't. I saw my own failures too. Missed anniversaries, distracted conversations, but they didn't justify this. Betrayal burned hotter than anger, searing away the love I'd held so tight. You didn't want me to fight, I said, voice breaking. You want to now. I left that night, a duffel bag slung over my shoulder. Sarah stood in the doorway, clutching the papers, begging me to stay. I love you, Evan. I messed up, but we can fix this. Her words were hollow, drowned by the image of her with him. I drove to a motel, the neon sign flickering like my hope. Heartbreak settled in, heavy but clarifying. She'd wanted to scare me, but the papers exposed her truth and mine. I neglected her, yes, but she'd chosen betrayal over honesty. The divorce went through quietly. Sarah moved on with Chris, but I heard through friends their relationship frayed fast, weighed down by her guilt. I rebuilt slowly, finding solace in routine, work, therapy, new hobbies. The pain lingered, a scar of lost trust, but it taught me love isn't just effort, it's presence. Signing those papers wasn't surrender, it was freedom from a lie. As I sit in my new apartment, the silence no longer stings. It's space to heal, to reflect, to start again.